Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Spirit of Justice. We are still interrogating Mr. Anonymous, yes, about why he was at the Inner Sanctum, which I believe is the last testimony for this particular trial.
That evening, I was enjoying a trek through the night sky with my homemade paraglider. But just as Mount Pony was drawing near, something terrible happened. An accident forced me to make an emergency landing at the Inner Sanctum. As I landed, I banged my head, causing me to lose my memory. So you see, I ended up at the Inner Sanctum purely by accident.
Although it's kind of obvious who you actually are. Mr. Emus, you failed to mention any of this during our pre-trial questioning.
Can't be helped. I'm just remembering it now.
Continue such slipshod testimony, and you will be cast into the hell of hangnails, where you shall have hangnails grown and ripped out for 800 million years.
Ooh, I think I'll pass on that.
Looks like that caught Prosecutor Samadi off guard. This is my chance to rip his case to shreds. Alright, we're gonna have to skip over his statement. The third statement is the one that will continue this testimony going on, but we don't want that yet, so. You were enjoying a trek through the night sky with your homemade paraglider? You didn't go to pray?
A devout curious like me can pray anywhere, even while flying through the sky. But I wouldn't recommend you try it. You're bound to end up dead.
Paraglider? I didn't see anything like that.
That's cause the old ritual curtain, it blocked your view. You should have seen me, majestically soaring between the mountains.
Really? What do you think, Nick?
Don't ask me. But you're the lawyer in this case!
I was really enjoying that flight. At first, anyway.
Something terrible happened?
Exactly. And when I say terrible, I mean terrible.
What? Was there something unexpected near Mount Pony?
What was it again?
Wait, you don't remember?
Let's just say it was terrible.
Oh my god. Alright, we're skipping over that. Where at the Inner Sanctum did you land?
That's easy, where the paraglider ended up.
I guess that makes sense. So, outside the ritual curtain, on the side where the moonlight shadows were cast.
But right as I landed, I hit my head on a rock. I lost both my consciousness and my memory. It was a big rock. Har, 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 har.
Something's seriously wrong with this guy. No shit, took you that long to realize? You're lucky to be alive after an accident like that.
Yeah, I'm just a lucky kind of guy. It's times like these that separate the men from the boys.
Wow, I'd say you were incredibly lucky. Almost miraculously so.
If you got something to say, just say it.
Alright, Mr. Emus. It wasn't an accident, was it? You landed at the Inner Sanctum on purpose.
What the? No, it was an accident, I'm telling you. You don't even have any proof, so stop making things up about me.
Do we not? His testimony's like a moving target.
Okay, Nick. Time for some evidence. You know, really grab him by the scruff of his neck.
One thing at a time, Maya. First I have to find an inconsistency. But where there is constantly changing testimony, There are bound to be discrepancies in other issues. Alright, now we're gonna go and press the third statement. What exactly was this accident you had?
Good question. Now what was it again? Wind? Oh yeah, it was the wind. And not just any wind, but a sudden gale force wind. Made me lose control.
The wind was strong enough to make you lose control?
You got that right.
Okay then, please add that to your testimony. Right, I'm pretty sure there were no gale force winds that night, but let's just go ahead and present this. Oh, I forgot to press them. My bad. We have a saying in my country, Mr. Emus. One lie begets another.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean?
It means someone caught lying will lie again in an attempt to conceal their first lie. In other words, this current testimony is just a blatant lie you're telling to cover your tracks.
What did you just say?
You claim gale force winds caused you to lose control. But this newspaper has the weather report for the day of the murder. It says, the area around the inner sanctum will enjoy calm, clear skies today.
What the fuck does that mean?
Why, I do believe it does say that.
One lie begets another. That makes sense, but is it really a saying back home? I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I kind of made that at one up.
For real?
Your Majesty, the witness's testimony contains another flaw, one that's even more fatal to his cause. More fatal, you say? The defense will explain himself at once. Mr. Emus claims he was flying up around the inner sanctum with his paraglider, but it would have been impossible to get all the way up there without any wind. Why, yes, I believe you're right. But we know the witness was at the inner sanctum, so... Mr. Emus, how did you get there, and from where? Without any wind, he couldn't have flown up there from the bottom of the mountain. By process of elimination, the only starting point that makes any sense is... Your Majesty, I believe I have the answer to your question. To reach the inner sanctum, Mr. Emus must have launched himself from here.
Are you insane?
No, it's the only thing that makes sense. That's where he came from. If he couldn't have come from below, the only other option is from above. So you see, Anonymous came down from Royal Penitentiary number 4. Where are the other 3? From there, he could have easily reached the inner sanctum by parachute. And that means he might have also killed the High Priest. What? Mr. Emus, were you the third party at the inner sanctum? And the one behind the warning to halt the right that the victim received? Was it you we saw in his final memory? Are you the rebel hunter, Lady Kira? Well, shit. If he's not him, he's at least somebody that we have evidence for.
Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, sir, help me out here.
You did it! You finally left him speechless.
Oh, come on, Mr. Prosecutor, man.
Quiet, you fool. You should use this time to prepare yourself for what is to come. For a fate far worse than hangnail hell awaits you now. Well done, defense. I must concede this point to you. The witness did, in fact, descend to the inner sanctum from Royal Penitentiary number 4. Huh? He didn't even put up a fight this time. That's awfully generous of him. It's a trap. But if you are as perceptive as you seem, then surely you've already figured out the riddle. The riddle of Anonymous's true identity. Oh, his true identity? Not sure I know quite yet, but I guess I'll have to answer with something. It would seem I am the only one still in the dark here. Ah, Judge. Would the defense care to enlighten me? Who is this man we've been calling Anonymous? The witness's true identity is... where is the wanted poster? Is this really him? Yes. Only now do you realize the truth. Well, please do share with us your belated insight.
What's wrong, Nick? Just say it.
Because this isn't going to be very helpful to our case.
Really? Are you sure?
Unfortunately, I've got no other choice. That scruffy beard and shaggy mane completely threw me off. But it's all becoming clear now. The nighttime BASE jump? Wait, what? Why are we abbreviating that? The nighttime BSE jump from the mountaintop prison. The precision landing at the inner sanctum using only a homemade parachute. Only a paratrooper, or more precisely, a former paratrooper, could have pulled that off. This witness is Dot's a rebel, prison escapee, and key member of Dirk's rebel group. What? Saying Dad's a rebel in voice audio is really weird. It's funny enough reading it. The witness is an escaped prisoner? Precisely. The police have been scouring every corner of the city to no avail. Meanwhile, here he was under our noses the entire time.
Didn't think anyone would see through my clever disguise.
But the witness's charade is not all that has been shattered. Is it, defense? Boy, do I hate this guy. Please recall the defense's own words. Whoever sent it clearly meant to threaten the high priest. The letter said, "Do not perform the rite." But the rite went on as scheduled. I believe that is why the high priest was murdered. Who do you suppose sent that letter? A person with something to hide. The rebel hunter disguised as Lady Kira herself. He claimed that the real killer was the rebel hunter disguised as Lady Kira.
Yeah? And what's your point?
What of the witness's true identity? Only a paratrooper, or more precisely, a former paratrooper, could have pulled that off. This witness is Dat's a rebel, prison escapee, and key member of Dirk's rebel group.
Oh no!
He is a rebel and an escaped prisoner. He could not possibly have been Lady Kira, mortal enemy of the rebels.
No!
Well, shit. Now, perhaps the witness will enlighten us to the truth. After all, he has yet to refute any of this.
Hoo-ha! You got me. I'm the razor-sharp fangs of the Defiant Dragons. That's Arabelle.
When did you get your memory back?
Oh, around the time you guys were talking about there being no wind. But you gotta give me credit for making up all that testimony off the top of my head.
Are you prepared to tell us the truth now?
Well, it's true I parachuted down to the inner sanctum, but I banged my head on impact and ended up unconscious outside the ritual curtain. In short, all my eyewitness testimony was a big fat lie.
Oh my god. A big fat lie?
Oh, and by the way, long time no see, Yudi.
Wait, they know each other? Your Majesty, this filthy rebel belongs in a jail cell. Oh, yes, of course! Bailiff, seize him at once!
Seems you really have forgotten the will of the dragon, huh, Yudi? But I haven't, and no dogs of the Garen regime are gonna lay a finger on me. Alley-oop!
And the music just stops. Deploy all available resources. I want all units placed on high alert. You can't catch that. He's awesome. Well then, we have a problem now though. The escaped prisoner escaped again. I'm like, why didn't you guys just huddle up around him when we found out that he was the rebel? And not until Nayuta says it. The police force has been placed on high alert. He will be caught before long.
An escaped prisoner who's escaped the law again after giving a ton of false testimony. Talk about a troublemaker.
When something smells. You really pulled a number on all of us. What was the point of all that anyway? Well, I can't help but feel that entire episode was an enormous waste of time. Me too. Your Majesty. Perhaps it was not as great of a waste as you might believe. What makes you say that, Prosecutor Samahi? That's a rebel dropped something as he made his escape from these halls. That scrap of paper looks awfully familiar. These appear to be direct orders from Dirk. From Dirk, the rebel leader? Oh, but we only have a small corner of it. Wait, I remember now. Your Majesty, I've seen that scrap of paper before. You have? The scrap of paper that's a rebel dropped is a part of this thing. And this is... I found it at the scene of the crime. It appears to be a copy of the order that Mr. Rebel dropped. If we put the two together, we should be able to read what the order says. Or at least the Currenus does. Perfect. Oh my, and just what does it say, Mr. Wright? I can't read Kuranese. Karainese. Prosecutor Samadi, if you please. The ignorant lawyer has not bothered to learn our language. Very well, then. I do not understand. Well, what does it say? Using the lamplights as a landmark, he was to parachute down to the inner sanctum. Upon the rite's completion, he was to don Lady Kira's robes and make his escape. What? That is how he was to escape from prison? So if I were to assume that Mr. Rebel was the one who killed the High Priest, then maybe it was because Abba and me tried to thwart his escape plan? Oh, foul lawyer. I'm afraid that is simply ludicrous. Huh? But I didn't say anything. Did you just read my mind? I know how your putrid mind works. Unfortunately for you, however, now that the rebel's escape plan has been revealed, it is clear that Datsa Rebel is not the High Priest's killer. How can you be so sure? If only you would use that putrid brain of yours every once in a while. That's a rebel's plan could not have worked without the help of a certain individual. What do you mean? I am speaking of Abbott and me, of course. Had Datsa Rebel simply donned Lady Kira's robes and made his escape alone, he would have been far too conspicuous. But were he by the High Priestess' side, the faithful citizens praying in the plaza would have had no cause to suspect anything. It is, therefore, unthinkable that Datsa Rebel was the High Priestess' killer. Ah! So then you're saying the High Priest was a... Oh, I cannot bear to say it. I'm afraid it is so. He numbered among the rebels who threatened our kingdom. How could this be? The High Priest? A rebel? There must be some kind of mistake. Let it go and move on. Accept the truth. It is the only way. And that goes double for you, Defense. Cease your futile battle now. And why should I? Because I will now put the final nail in the coffin of the accused. Now that we have eliminated Datsa Rebel from our list of suspects, there is only one person that still remains, the accused Maya Fey. Hell no! Hold it right there! Aren't you forgetting something important? Something important? Please do explain, Defense. We cannot end this trial without looking into... the third party? Yes. I'm talking about the true identity of Lady Kira we saw in the seance vision. If that wasn't Datsa Rebel, then who was it? It's a fourth person! That matter has already been resolved. It has? What's he talking about? It is as I have mentioned from the start. There was no third party in the seance vision. But there was another Lady Kira there besides Maya Fey. We all saw her. Oh. What the? I can't do my finger point. Rip everything. That. Yeah! It is time to let it go and move on. Your fate has already been sealed, much like your arm. This hardly seems fair. Well, at least it's not hot coffee. It is quite simple once you consider where the victim and the accused were at the time. Or whip. If the victim was near the spring with his back to the accused, what would he see ahead? Besides the water itself, there is nothing but a warbat statue. Precisely. The Lady Kira we saw in the seance is the warback statue draped in her sacred robes. No way! The accused wanted the false Lady Kira to appear in the seance vision before she came from behind and stabbed the victim with the dagger in a reverse grip. But why would the accused want to do something like create a false Lady Kira? To show it to the victim as he was being slain. And what reason would the accused have to fool the victim he was about to kill? It was not the victim she was trying to fool. It was this very court itself. Come again? Suspicion would not fall on the accused if it looked as if another Lady Kira was there. And the defense was foolish enough to fall for it and claim it was a third party in disguise. Are you saying? I am. It was all a cleverly wicked scheme perpetrated by the accused. A scheme in which she sought to use the seance vision to mislead us. Rubble. This can't be happening. What a face you are making, Defense. I am surprised you are taking this so hard. After all, did I not clearly state a while back that you were chasing after naught but a deluded fantasy? Something has occurred to me, you see. And your allegations of a third party are but a deluded fantasy. Okay, that's cool, but that didn't really give us anything to work with. Like, you can do flashbacks, but that's just repeating what he's already said without much context. You're telling me he knew this is how it would turn out all the way back then? And then he was just waiting for the most effective moment to spring it on me? Do you understand now? I have had you dancing in the palm of my hand this entire time. It can't be. This is outrage. An outrage. You took our royal priestess's sacred divination seance and used it to commit this most foul and despicable murder?
No, I did nothing of the sort.
Maya.
Nick, it's not true. I didn't.
Cease this ugly display. Your fate is sealed now that the facts have been exposed. Your Majesty, the time has come to convict this criminal who only seeks to taint this sacred hall. Indeed, it seems this trial is over. Does the defense wish to offer up yet another counter-argument or something? The accused is not the killer. And, here's why. Now what do I do? I've got nothing. It would appear that the defense has run out of arguments to make. I thought for sure that Rebel was the killer. The only person with a possible motive, the one dressed as Lady Kira, has vanished. I've got nothing to use against Prosecutor Samani's argument. Damn it! I can't lose now. Not like this. Very well then, I shall now render my verdict. Wait! Please, wait, I'm begging you! It is time to let it go and move on. This trial need not be drawn out any longer. The defense has failed to counter the charge filed by the prosecution. In accordance with the law, I invoke the Defense Culpability Act against the defense. Now then, this court finds the accused Maya Fey, and the defense Phoenix Wright. Game over? Ah! Okay, well, spoilers, there are 2 other cases, so that can't be the end. Your Majesty, please forgive the interruption, but... What is the meaning of this? A body has been found. In the Plaza of Devotion, Your Majesty. What's this? A body? What happened now? And we found this, sticking out of the victim. Why, that's Lady Kira's war bag dagger. Lady Kira, she has returned from the Twilight Realm. She has come to defeat the rebels. Peace! Well, it would seem the dagger that was once lost has now been found. I have one more thing to report, Prosecutor Samani. Yes? This dagger. It bears the fingerprints of Maya Fey on it. What? Okay, this one murder has to be bullshit, considering she's been in this courtroom the whole time.
But...
why would Maya's prints be on it? Because Ace Attorney. I cannot believe it, yet it must be true. Is something the matter, Prosecutor Sabahi? This trial has run its course, and the accused's guilt has been firmly established. Fuck no, she's been in here! However, It would seem the defense was right about one thing. I was? You claim that the murder at the Inner Sanctum had been carried out by the rebel hunter masquerading as Lady Kira. I did say something to that effect, but what of it? Prosecutor Sumai, are you suggesting what I think you are? I believe the true identity of the rebel hunter who has been masquerading as Lady Kira is none other than the accused, Miss Maya Fey. What?
Me?
What? But she's been in this courtroom. Okay, the other ones is one thing, but this one, what the heck? I realize how shocking this must seem. Looking back, however, I now realize there was much that pointed to this fact. The rebel hunting Lady Kira was first sighted about 2 years ago, and the accused first came to our kingdom 2 years ago as well. Well, why, the timing matches perfectly. But there is more. Oh my god, make this stop! That warning letter was found in the High Priest's bedroom 3 days before the rite, despite his house being locked up tight that night. How does that prove anything? It is difficult to believe an intruder could have found a way to enter such a secure house. However, the accused was known to come and go freely there, mainly to prepare for the purification rite.
Abbot Inmi was an important figure with a ton of duties, including training acolytes. He was really kind, even to a foreigner like me. He even invited me over to his house whenever I was between training sessions.
The accused could have easily left the house unlocked for herself without anyone noticing. No! Fuck. Oh my god, does this not stop getting worse? If we assume that the accused was Lady Kira, that more than establishes her motive for killing the High Priest. Yes, the victim was secretly an insurgent bent on helping Datsa rebel escape, after all. Precisely, that made him a target of Lady Kira's wrath. I want to finish this before we... I know we're going over, but I want to finish. And after killing the High Priest, she then unleashed her divine justice on another rebel. Explain how. So, it seems the scope of this case has expanded. We now have 2 murders perpetrated by Miss Maya Fey, masquerading as Lady Kira. Bullshit is what I want to say. Bullshit! If Miss Fey is indeed a serial killer, it would affect the severity of her punishment. In light of this, I believe this second murder must be investigated before we can proceed. As you wish, Your Majesty. Maya Fey, I hereby charge you with this second murder. May your defiled soul feel the weight of your sins. A new murder charge on top of a guilty verdict? It seems the defense will live to see one more day. Talk about hanging on by a thread. Come tomorrow, a far more terrible punishment awaits you. I hereby suspend these proceedings so that the second murder may be investigated. Until the conclusion of this new investigation, this court is adjourned. Fuck. I guess that's a to be continue? That is a to be continue. We went over slightly, but whatever, we're so close, I'm just like, get it done, get it done! So we'll continue into day 2 investigation in the next video. See you guys then. Fucking bullshit, though.
Seriously, what the fuck is even that word?